Good evening, 10 p.m. in Accra on Holy Saturday, and thanks so much for staying here at Adesa Way in Accra. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. Now let's look at some highlights of news making rounds on our network. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo says government's long-term strategy to fight Galamsey will soon be released. Speaking at the coronation of the Kwawu Oboming Nana Efa Openamang III, the president said his government will do his best to maintain a peaceful relationship with the Chinese government, but will make sure the laws are enforced in order to put a halt on Galamsey. President Akufo-Addo addressing a gathering of the people there at the coronation of the Mahine of that area, talking about Galamsey. We'll tell you more about that. Lack of space and inadequate equipment is hampering effective healthcare delivery at the pediatric unit of the police hospital here in Accra. The unit currently has only 2 incubators, compelling management to pair children when the demand goes high. So that's the sad story there. Kids have to be paired because of inadequate incubators at the police hospital here in Accra. Authorities working hard to try and deal with the situation. I will tell you more about that right here on Newsat 10. The Ghana Association of Visual Artists want to be identified and given a role in national development. The president of the association, Nana Otuo Owahene Echampong, is asking the Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts Ministry to create a conducive environment to ensure the industry thrives. So those guys on your screens there, forming an association, Ghana National Association of Visual Artists, there, asking that they be given a role to play in national development. They are thinking about 7 Mother Ghana World Artists Day. We'll tell you more about that later on. Ghana's international trade volumes are expected to grow by 10% by the second quarter of 2017. This is as a result of the introduction of new business policies, initiatives, and renewed business confidence among the business community there. So we'll see those figures there on your screens. They're likely to see some growth by the second quarter of 2017. 10% we're expecting trade volumes to grow at the end of the second quarter of the year. And on the international front, a huge car bomb has blasted a convoy of coaches carrying evacuees from besieged government-held towns in Syria, and we're told that at least 39 people have been killed. The blast, the result of a suicide attack, shattered coaches and set cars on fire, leaving a trail of bodies, including children, as a convoy waited in rebel territory near Aleppo in Syria. That's the story there from Syria. We're grateful that you stayed to be part of the show. If you're watching us from across the country and wherever you are, this is your show, News at 10. Let's start with the big one. All right, so let's stay on Galamsey. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo says government's long-term strategy to fight Galamsey will soon be released. Speaking at the coronation of the Kwawu Oboming Nana Efa Openamang III, the president said his government will do its best to maintain a peaceful relationship with the Chinese government, but will make sure the laws are enforced in order to put a halt on Galamsey.
The Galamsey menace was one of the main issues the Kwawu Oboming Nana Efa Openamang III pleaded with the president to solve. On the issue of Galamsey, the president stated that his government will ensure that jobs are created for youth as a substitute to the illegal mining operations.
Galamsey no de la Ghana ubiate se me ka ho asem.
Everyone has heard me talking about the Galamsey issues. We are going to find a lasting solution to it so that the youth will find jobs to do.
We're coming to deal with this problem once and for all in the history of our country.
Let's stay with the issue of Galamsey. The Director of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College and an international relations expert, Dr. Vladimir Antwi-Danso, says Ghana is doing the right thing in its fight against Galamsey. We've been trying to guess what he has to say, particularly with the issue on the fact that the Chinese are not too happy. And my colleague Portia Gabo spoke with Dr. Antwi-Danso on News 360 and first asked him if the fight against Galamsey will have any potential diplomatic pitfalls between Ghana and China.
I do not think it's going to have any diplomatic row between Ghana and China because Ghana is a sovereign country. It is trying to use its own laws to avert any disaster emanating from the Galamsey menace. And unfortunately, some Chinese nationals are involved. That is the only connection. And yes, we spoke about the letter some time back, and it's in bad taste, as if a veiled threat to Ghana. So I'm very happy that the president himself has said that it is our country, it's our laws, but we'll handle things diplomatically. And that ends the case, I believe.
The President Akufo-Addo has said that Ghana is going to do its best to maintain a peaceful relationship with China. Should this be enough to assure the Chinese that nothing untoward would happen to them and that we just a sovereign nation doing what is in our best interests?
I strongly suspect so, because I do not know why the Chinese chose that channel of going public with a letter, that kind of thing. And we could have handled it diplomatically, quietly, by walking to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and expressing misgivings about the way we handle it. And it could have been explained to them. That's what we normally do. But what I see is a kind of veiled threat because their nationals are involved. We've had that before, to the extent that a gubernatorial, or what do you call it, a governor from China with some delegation came some time back and handled the situation very amicably. Some Chinese were deported, and we didn't bring anything. So where we are now, I think the president has done well to state categorically, it is our country, we are handling it on our local level with our laws. Bilaterally, we have a relationship with you, and we'll make sure that we don't do anything untoward towards our relationship. And that is the way to go.
We'll stay on the Galamsey issues a little longer, but first let's step on the brakes for now. When we come back, we'll try and make some sense out of this whole fight, if there is any, between Ghana and China on Galamsey. Stay with us. News at 10 is back in a moment. So let's stay with the issue of Galamsey a little longer because small-scale miners are kind of expressing some concerns about a whole thing. Quickly speak to Emmanuel Antwi. He is the Director of Operations at the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. He joins me via Skype. Mr. Antwi, grateful for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start from here. Now, how worried is the association about the issue of illegal miners who are not registered and yet seem to be causing so much problem?
Well, the association's, good evening to your viewers, the association's position on illegal miners is very simple, that anything illegal we don't support it. However, we feel that the illegal sector has three groups of people in there. There are those on the river bodies, and then we have those who are working in the forest, and then we have those who work in the hinterlands. And we propose that those on the river bodies, we chase them out. Those in the forest, we chase them out. But those in the hinterland, there is a bit of situation where we believe that enforcement might be very difficult based on our experience on the ground. And so we propose education and then possibly regularization of their activities. But those in the river bodies and in the forest, they are in a very small number, and we can easily target them and then take them off the place.
Why do you, Mr. Irenchi, why do you think those in the hinterlands will have a difficulty trying to remove them from where they are?
You know, the history of there being they've been mining almost a century and more. And when you consider the history of their activities, sometimes you would want to use a human face to tackle such problem, and that is why the association is of the view that those in the hinterlands probably need education and then possible regularization.
I see.
Yeah.
I see, but what you can see that what he engaged in is illegal.
Yes, it's totally illegal, and we don't support it at all. And in fact, something interesting is happening. Since the announcement that was made by the sector minister, they are coming out. They are removing the excavators from the mining area, and we keep on getting calls. You know, the association, we embarked on we're trying to identify where they are some time ago, and so we started something like that. And so we have contact with a few of them, and they keep on asking questions. So, Director, when after we have removed all our machines, what is the guarantee that we're going to get jobs to do and all that? You know, these are people. I believe that, especially those in the hinterlands, they are ready to regularize their activities. They are ready to work. So I believe that the minister and the people who are supposed to be responsible for them should position themselves in such a way that after all these people have moved from the mining areas, they are given a certain hearing, and possibly a way is given to regularize them or license the activities, those that the state can do that. We do that as quickly as possible.
I see.
To at least reward this good faith that they are showing.
All right. How do we also deal with those of you who are registered, who have licenses, and yet are engaged in illegal practices?
Well, I mean, you cannot have license and engage in illegal practices. You see, the license is a site-specific license. Basically, does not describe the operation that, to put in simple terms, when you have the license, it just tells you where, the area you can work. It is site-specific. It does not prescribe the operations. However, the EPA permit actually also kind of give you an input of how you want to mine and direct you in that line before you can sign that permit.
I see.
Then the license is basically a site-specific license, not operation-wide, unlike other African countries are practicing.
I see. Mr. Irenchi, are you suggesting that all those registered do not do anything that is against the regulations on small-scale mining? Is that what you're suggesting?
I mean, I cannot say that because it's a human institution. Definitely, we can have one or two people breaking the laws here and there. And as an association, when we find some people, we don't deal with them lightly at all. We have a peer review mechanism that we use. And you will recall that since we started our operation, hardly would you hear of any safety issues or any fatalities in licensed areas. It's all boils down to how we operate as compared with the illegal people.
I see.
We take our people serious and all that. I mean, those who try to flout the law, we deal with them. And those who try to do that to actually also becomes Galamsey operators.
Oh,
you know,
has it ever?
You're a Galamsey operator when you move out of your license area. Then you become a Galamsey operator.
I see. Has it also come to your notice, the association, that some legitimate holders of license are selling them to foreigners?
Yes, we know of this problem. Majority of it comes from the large-scale area. You know, people go in for large-scale concessions, and then they are giving like prospecting licenses or reconnaissance licenses, and they try to parcel this land for Galamsey operators or for foreigners. Most we can just do a research into it, but we know as an association, most of these people are given their place of work by the large-scale companies who have prospecting licenses or maybe recce licenses. And in fact, it's a problem to the association itself, because a number of times we tell the Minerals Commission, you know, we have constant quarterly meetings with the commission, the Minerals Commission, as an association, and we normally tell them that if these people, we can just get their license from them and rather give it to small-scale operators, because it looks as if they are not able to manage the prospecting or the recce licenses very well, and then they just give it to these Chinese illegal operators or the other operators.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, before you go, Mr. Yerenchi, how supportive will the association be in government's effort at stopping the Galamsey activities?
Yes, there's actually a roadmap that we intend to present to the minister. Already we had also started chasing the dredges out on the river bodies already. And very soon we'll be moving out with the media cameras to monitor some of these activities that the association have been taking, even before the minister made that particular pronouncement and up to now. So the association is really working very hard towards that. And when it comes in terms of safety and doing the proper thing too, the association is doing a lot of things. For instance, we signed an agreement with UMAT to train our members and then would-be members on how to mine well in a safe environment, and then with environment care in mind as well. So the association is doing very much well to sanitize this industry and also make this industry one of the one that we can envy, and then people can also get in. Yeah.
Mr. Yerenchi, we're grateful for your time tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Emmanuel Yerenchi Entry is the Director of Operations at the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. They're talking to me on illegal mining. This is News Saturn. Let's take another break. When we come back, there is more. Thanks so much for staying there. The Chief Executive Officer of the E-Crime Bureau, Albert Nchibwesiako, has warned of more mobile money fraud if pragmatic steps are not taken to increase vigilance and cyber security. The penetration of mobile money in Ghana has seen an astronomical rise, with 2015 value of transaction reaching 35.4 billion cedis. We're told that the surge in mobile money usage shows the vital role telecom companies are playing to advance the central bank's cash-light economy or cashless economy agenda, and also ensure that the push for more financial inclusion is brought into the hands of millions of Ghanaians. Right, let's try and quickly speak to the Chief Executive Officer of the E-Crime Bureau, Mr. Albert Nchibwesiako. He's joined me on Skype. Mr. Nchibwesiako, grateful for your time tonight.
Yes, good evening, and grateful also to your viewers. So.
Right, so let's start from here. How prevalent is this mobile money fraud?
Well, that is a good question. I think you did mention about the figures.
Right.
From the central bank that tells the growth of mobile money within our ecosystem. And our analysis suggests that in the next 20-25 years, mobile money is going to dominate our payment channels. It's something that we need to bring into perspective.
I see.
But there is absolutely. If you look at our banking setup, the informal sector, but even for the bank population, people like myself and you, even though we have traditional account, probably 3 or 4 bank account, we are still enjoying what mobile money offers. And when you look at the trend, I think Ghana, if you take possibly Uganda, Kenyans, Ghana is among the leading countries where this market is actually developing. But our job, we have also identified certain vulnerabilities. And within the last year or so, almost 50% of mobile money patrons, let's say if you take 10 people, half of them have either experienced one form of fraud related to mobile money, or they have been targeted, in other words, attempted fraud.
I see.
So it's quite hard to come out with data. Yes.
So in preventing these, what should those who utilize these services look out for?
Great. That's very important. When we're talking about mobile money fraud, we're looking at customer-driven fraud, we're looking at agent-driven fraud, but increasingly we've also identified system-related, the mobile devices that patrons of mobile money subscribers are using in terms of malicious programs that are being downloaded by users unknowingly, and these devices are compromised, and pins, numbers, mobile money transactions are being intercepted here and there. But we have also the common scams that target almost everybody, whether it's through SMS or through email systems, in terms of patrons being directed to send mobile money to enter into some promotions or win some award. And I think these are the parameters within which we should be looking at the kind of fraud that we're experiencing at the moment. But generally, our perspective is this. Most of these issues can be addressed through the user awareness. We need to take a critical look of the issues, and patrons of mobile money should be advised on the various risk aspects. For example, if somebody calls you and tells you that, look, your auntie in the UK has sent you some parcel and you have to pay mobile money for you to take your money. Possibly you may not even have any auntie in the UK, but no due diligence is done. And then you go ahead, you send the money because you are hearing a parcel from the UK. That is quite something that a user should be aware of to avoid this kind of fraud going forward. Okay. It is very important. Sometimes they ask you to pay some money to enter into a promotion. At least call the service provider to verify whether indeed there is any promotion going on at all. But we're also talking importantly about the devices that we are using for transactions. Mobile money means that you have your money sitting on your phone. If your mobile phone is not secure, then the possibility that a third party having physical access to the device could possibly transact money on your behalf, or a third party malicious actor through the use of malicious programs, malwares, could intercept your PIN, and that could be used also to fraudulently take your money from your account. So user awareness is key.
Very key. All right. Mr. Nchubwe-Siaku, grateful for your time tonight. Albert Nchubwe-Siaku is the Chief Executive Officer of E-Crime Bureau, talking about mobile money fraud. A quick warning here from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. A moderate to heavy thunderstorm and rain observed over Togo and Benin and moving westward is expected to hit the Volta, Eastern Ashanti, Western and the Bunahafo regions. It is tonight. The storm is likely to be accompanied by moderate to strong winds. The general public, especially those on the Volta Lake, should take note and act accordingly. So these are the areas: Ho, Akachi, Hohoi and its environs, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Koforidua and Koko, Abetifi and environs, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mampong, Kumasi, Obuasi and environs, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then Sefi Bekwai, Takwa, Sunyani and Goso and its environs between now, 10 p.m. and 12 midnight. You got to be careful if you're from that area. Grateful for your time tonight, for staying there for us. My team in the studio, 9 pens, Johnson, Nana Boate, Theophilus Corti, Bernard Hansi, the guys behind the whole show, and of course, Manassas Dakwa, Bet Mensa, Louise, and my two director, Harriet Asumda. The show was put together by Isaac Ameko. My name is Bright Manafo. Have a great night, and see you tomorrow. Good night.